GD!
What's up, Big Kev? How you doing, baby?
You amped or what?
I'm golden, buddy.
Hell
I'm
yeah.
just kind of trying to go over some notes, and I'm gonna be, the whole world is a big wing it, right?
Oh yeah.
So just trying to, there's a lot of info I took in. A lot of it is raw inspiration, right? But gonna just try and share some of these nuggets, I guess.
Yeah, dude. You want me to like ask you questions and stuff, like interview you?
Sure. Yeah.
Or you want to do how we do like the calls, or you want to just run it? Like, do you want me to like? Well, we'll just go with it.
What do you think? Do you want to interview me and ask me questions, or
I'll just start it off, and then
how about I ramble on for the first 15, and then you jump in and start kind of like asking me some questions, so that I can warm myself up and going over some of my notes, and have some things top of mind. Okay.
Perfect.
And can you hear me all right?
I can hear you, yeah.
And should I use these headphones or not? I worry about sometimes the echo in this room.
I can hear you perfectly fine. I just it's a little bit there's a little bit of choppiness, but there's nothing we can do about that. It's just a
Yeah.
way.
Okay.
But you're good.
All right, cool.
So,
all right, buddy.
Yeah, dude, it's gonna be good, man. So you excited? You're freaking amped or what?
Oh, dude, everything's lovely.
Yeah.
How you doing, man? I was like last minute. I started driving back on whatever 2 nights ago, and I got to LA. It was like midnight or something, maybe a little earlier. And I'm like, fuck. I'm like, where does Kevin live? I'm like, maybe I should just go over to Kevin's house and like sleep it off and get up in the morning and drive. I drove until 3:30.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, but it's not that bad. What's that?
Good morning, guys.
Hey, John. Love the name.
Yeah.
The next Tom Perry.
So, Greg, I bet that's the richest. That's your new richest friend, Tom Ferry. I think he's worth like $300 million.
Is that right? Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Wow. Well, I was also there with Gary Gold, who sold the Playboy Mansion for $100 million. Met him. That was kind of crazy. Yeah.
Man, there's some big people.
And he was like, "Oh, there was." I also met the 2001 Playmate of the Year.
Ooh, that's
kind of a highlight.
Is that the chick that was kind of touchy-feely with you, probably, or was it someone else?
I don't know what you're talking about, first of all. And second of all, no. I wish that was the case. Yeah.
What's up, Roxana?
She was actually on The Apprentice.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, so it's going to be great to hear all the stuff that you learned about and stuff that you're going to be sharing with us, man. I'm really excited.
Awesome. Well, it's not, a lot of it's going to be regurgitated information that we've all heard before, but sometimes it's kind of just nice to hear it again. And like I said, a lot of going to the event was about the energy and, the networking and just kind of getting excited again and reintroduced to things you may have known in the past that you kind of forgot that you should be doing, such as that you tell us all the time, right? But you go to an event and you spend your money on a hotel room and your money and your time driving or flying, and I think you might like plug in a little harder. You know what I mean? Anyways, I should save this for when we get going.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it makes sense.
Yeah.
It's when you pay for stuff, sometimes the the perceived value is greater than when you get stuff for free.
Yeah, no, I'm not. I'm not diminishing your input in any way. It's just like that's why you join the gym, right? You could go running outside or like do push-ups all day long. But if you join the gym, you're like, oh, I'm gonna go use this thing and work it out a little more.
Totally. All right, buddy. So it's 9 o'clock. Looks like we've got some people jumping on. So
Wai Chi, is that how we say that? Wai Chi, what's up, buddy? Welcome to Marker.
Weechi.
Weechi.
Yeah.
How you doing, man? Hey, nice to see you.
Yeah, for sure.
And we got Sargon's on. We got Stephanie, Roxana, Justin, the man, Kevin, big man, Markarian. Love it.
let's get rolling, man.
All right. Well, hey, good morning, guys. It is 9 o'clock and time to get rolling. So thanks a lot, Kevin. Kevin asked me last night if I wouldn't mind coming on here and kind of sharing some of my experience from these last few days. I just got back from Tom Ferry's Elite Retreat, and it was down in Palm Desert. And I drove down there all by myself, and I was really excited about going to this event. I almost didn't go because I ended up getting a listing. And then I was like, oh, these clients are probably going to want me around for the listing. But luckily, the listing sold to the first person that took a look at the place. So got in contract on that and decided, this is a really important thing for me to be at. And in hindsight, I'm irritated that I almost didn't go because it was such a powerful, positive event. So as part of the coaching system that I'm in, I get these events all for free. All of Tom's events around the country, I can go to all of them for free now. So I'll be going to the marketing event probably in Chicago, possibly in Seattle. And there's some other summit events and things around the country that I'm interested in going to now. Because not only is it totally inspiring and really infuses you with energy to come home to and work harder with, but it was a lot of fun. It was great. I met a ton of cool people. And I networked like crazy. I got a lot of cards that I am following up with. So now I have a bunch of people that I can get referrals from and send referrals to. And that's kind of the whole idea, is working inside that ecosystem so that you can reach out to the Facebook group and say, hey, I got somebody in Texas, Dallas, that's looking to buy a home. Who's in Dallas? People raise their hand, and boom, all of a sudden you got yourself a referral fee. So another way to generate income. But anyways, I was going to go over just some of the bullet points that I took in my notes on the event. Now, there's no way I'm going to be able to kind of cover everything because it was really extensive and long. And part of the whole experience was really just the energy that you got doing it. It was kind of like going to a Tony Robbins event where it's like every once in a while everyone just stands up and like goes crazy and loses their mind, right? And so that was part of it too. So anyways, I'll get into it right now. We started off, talking about numbers and if you know your numbers or not. This was kind of a cool thing for me because I really don't know my numbers and realized that, like, what am I doing? I'm not tracking anything. I have no basis of whether I'm doing good or bad. I am not setting numbers to go for. And that's just enormous. I kind of realized, like, I have no idea how many offers I put in last year. I have no idea how many listings I had. So I've already built some spreadsheets and I'm starting to track that type of thing. And then I made some commitments to how many, appointments I want to make, how many offers I want to put in. So this year I definitely want to try and book 100 appointments, either, listing appointments would be great, but 100 appointments with listings, buyers and otherwise. So I'm going to track that on a spreadsheet to make sure that I hit my 100 appointments with people. I said by June 1st. It may be a little lofty, but might as well go for it because there was so many examples that we ran across where people would set some kind of a goal and then, hey, what do you know? Come December 31st, they are one appointment away from reaching the goal, right? Or they're at the goal and surpassed it. So it's just kind of amazing at how You know, if you set a goal, the likelihood of you achieving that goal is just so much higher. In fact, Gary Gold was actually there at the event, and I got introduced to him by Ro Habibi, which maybe you guys saw my photo of me and Ro at the event. Ro was one of the guys on $1 Million Listing here in San Francisco, and I've been watching him ever since that show and kind of interacting with him online. And, you know, it was kind of weird because I was always rooting for him on the show, and like now we're buddies. Like, he was texting me last night, and he wants to come play tennis here with me at the club, and he knew a bunch about Marker, and I was totally stoked about all that. So anyways, Gary Gold is this great agent in LA. He ended up selling the Playboy Mansion for $100 million, and it was like the largest sale ever made for a residence in California at the time. And he was, you know, he gave a little bit of a speech and said that, you know, he didn't know how he would ever top that. It was kind of like, oh, I guess I've reached the pinnacle of my career. But then as time went on, he decided, like, well, no, you know, I'm just going to decide on, you know, selling something larger. And he said that now he's in the process of selling a $350 million home. And it's totally crazy, and he's very confident it's actually going to sell. So that was just the impression I took on that, is like, set big goals and you just might find a way to accomplish them, because all you have to do is kind of break it down and figure out what it takes to accomplish them. You know, how many appointments a day do you need to set up to hit those goals? So so I want to set 100 appointments. And we talked a lot about, like, what are your 3 goals for your soul? You know, I talked about some money, things that I want for my family. And then we set some goals on what are your blow the doors off financial intentions for the year. You know, the whole thing is very motivational. He talks about what motivates you. Whatever it is that motivates you, do it. So, you know, I kind of encourage you guys, as you listen to me here, I'm going to be running through this fast because I did take a ton of notes, and you know, I can't get through it all, but I encourage you guys to write down your own notes too, because somewhat in the process of writing down the notes, your brain activates and you start thinking about it. And that kind of helps things manifest and become true. So we wrote down a list of experiences that we wanted in 2018, magical experiences that we want for ourselves and for our lives. And, you know, I wrote down things like, I want to go to Bali, I want to experience Wimbledon, I want to go to Australia, I want to buy a home, I want to swim with sharks. And here was a cool one. He was like, why don't you take your family, your parents, your extended family, all on a great trip, and you cover the entire trip. So, you know, set these things up so that you must be super successful in your career. So that's no problem for you to be able to, you know, provide back to the people you love in your life that some amazing experiences of their own. He encouraged us to watch a video of a letter that Steve Jobs wrote to himself before he passed away. And I guess the essence of the video is that he chased money his entire life. And as he was sitting on his deathbed, none of it really mattered. The only thing that really matters is family and relationships. So, you know, make making money a game and have fun with it. And, you know, make that your thing is just having a great time with your career. Make your job a game. Set what winning the game every day is. Is it making 10 calls? Is it making 25 calls? Whatever it is, make that your game. Wake up with a smile and go after it. And before you know it, you'll just have connected with so many people throughout the week, every week, that your business is just snowballing. It's rolling, and people are contacting you. And I just want to, on a side note, kind of just make the point that even since I went to this thing on Tuesday, you know, I've posted a few videos online, I've posted a few things, and I have already had people calling me and telling me that the energy that I'm putting out there is kind of reverberating into them, that they've been inspired, that they're, you know, they want to hear more, they want to grab coffee. And that's kind of what it's about, is like put out that good energy, and it'll return itself real quick. You know, there's some hidden things in this world that we don't necessarily understand science-wise, I think, surrounding energy. And it's kind of unexplainable, but if you put out a good energy, oftentimes you get back good energy. So people want to see you smile at them, and they want to kind of feel the goodness from you. So give it to them, and they'll give it right back. People want to be loved, and they want to love you back. So allow that. moving on. He had us write down some promises to our coach. I mean, I've been really enjoying having a dedicated coach for myself that helps keep me accountable. So I'm going to commit to 5 to 10 real estate conversations every day. I am going to choose 2 farms. This was one thing that I don't think that a lot of us have going on. And, you know, I'm making an assumption, but do you have a farm? Do you have 2 farms? What farms are they? Mine are going to be San Francisco, and now I'm trying to work my way into the North Bay and Marin and Mill Valley. I intend to sell enough in Mill Valley so that I can buy a home in Mill Valley. It's time to kind of like get these things that are necessary for my family. So anyways, the other stuff is I'm going to start tracking all numbers. And then number 5 for me was videos. Video is just so impactful. Kevin asked me today if I wanted to do a telephone call or a video. And I said, let's do a video. I got to get more comfortable with video at all times. And I think we all do, because the future's going that way. You know, everyone wants to do video conference calls. I just talked to my clients who I'm in escrow with last night about my bomb video that I sent them the day after that I did my listing presentation with them. And they just were telling me how impactful the video that I sent them was. It was maybe 2 minutes of me just telling them how much I appreciated them, and, you know, mentioned their dog's name in the video. And, you know, you just come with this information in the video, and you're looking right into that camera, and they see it in your eyes and your soul that you listened during the presentation, that you heard what their goals were of selling their home, what was important to them, what was necessary for you to properly accomplish what they wanted. And what do you know, I got the listing, and guess what? I never even had to take it to market. We got an all cash offer. It was like, wow, what a great way to start the year. And I'm so glad I invested in some bomb and I sent them that video follow-up, because they even admitted to me that I probably wasn't the most qualified candidate. There was someone else that sells their neighborhood. I don't know their neighborhood. I'm not from San Carlos, but they liked my energy more. So that meant a lot to me. Okay, moving on. I intend to have my most expensive sale this year. He said, write that on your mirror. Write some inspirational things on your mirror so that every morning as you're getting up, you've got some whiteboard things written on your mirror that you're reminded of every day, that you're just like, all right, this is my why. This is what I'm doing. You know, I'm going to go get my most expensive sale. You know, then we talked a lot about what being a dominant listing agent looks like, how to do that. Are you door knocking your farm? Are you delivering 2 to 3 mailer pieces every month? You know, are you guys doing that? If you're not, think about what that could look like. You know, if every month people were receiving 2 cards in the mail that was, you know, fresh and cool, and your smiling face there, do you think you'd get more business, or do you think it would just be worthless? I mean, it would probably eventually, after time, lead to listings. And, you know, you really extrapolate that out. If you spend some money on doing that, if you get 1 listing out of it, you make all your money back and then some, and then your career starts to take off. So you kind of have to invest and go after some of these things. And that made a big impression on me too, because I've just been like sitting on my hands as far as the mailer farming thing goes. But I'm not going to do that anymore. I am going to be kind of everywhere at all times, is what they talk about, via mailers, via really Facebook. I mean, then we spoke so much about social media, and it was kind of like, there's never been something more impactful than social media in our society. I mean, since the internet started, really, it's like, it's so huge. It's so many people are on it, and there's such an opportunity there to grab people's information, to grab their eyes, to grab their attention, to win them over, to grab the sale. So if you're not using social media in the proper ways, you are just leaving huge opportunities on the table. We talked a ton about Facebook advertising, about the proper ways to use Instagram. You know, you can use Instagram and post up your picture, but if you're not hashtagging like 30 different appropriate hashtags in the appropriate way, you know, there's just a powerful, appropriate way to use it. And so that kind of made an impression on me too, because I think I've been using Instagram nicely, but not powerfully. And I decided to change that. I actually started Googling some different things. He gave us a ton of things to Google too, like make Google your friend. Google the best way to use Instagram. Figure that out. How to hashtag appropriately so that you can build your following. I have only about 350 followers, but as of this week, I'm determined to get that thing up to 1,000 as fast as possible, and then watch it grow from there. So I'm going to be heavily hitting Instagram with 2 photos a day until I hit 1,000, and then I'm going to move on from there and set a new goal. What are your top 11 listing sources in the room? That's what we talked about. So your database, you got to work your database wherever they are. I have school database, I have the tennis club database, I have all my friends, I've got Facebook, you've got, your family. Go after them, hit them up, hit them with a 1-minute video message that says, hey, I hope you're off to a great new year. And just let me know if I can help you or any friends, locate a great property. I'd love to work hard for you. Boom, it'll be impactful, and you just don't know what it'll develop. Other things are open houses. We got to work open houses, better. Geographic farming, which I just talked about. Get 2 to 3 mailers going out there to your farms. Pick your farm. Pick your area you're going to work. Agent-to-agent referrals. Zillow, Trulia, Realtor.com. Expired listings, seller-focused online marketing, sign calls for sale by owners, investors, and professional networking, builders, corporate relocation, networking, review-based marketing, and radio. Radio, he also told us, is kind of like forgotten right now. People think like radio is no longer a source where you can make an impact on people, but that's not true. There are still tons and tons of people who are listening to AM sports talk radio or drive time, hip hop, or whatever is passionate or makes sense for you, or where you think you can pick up some buyers. Radio advertising is kind of cheap right now. So you can maybe think about going out there and getting your voice out there and having your name repeated, and then people will hear you over and over. And when it comes time to buy real estate, they'll think, maybe I should give Greg Duncan a call. Anyways, how am I doing? Kevin, you got anything you want to ask me? About 15 minutes in.
You're doing great. I took a lot of notes, and I have a comment, and then I have some questions.
Okay. Go ahead.
The comment is, and I talk about this all the time, is that we can do there's all this information out there, and we can analyze and think about what it is that we're going to do, and really we can spend a lot of time on that, but at the end of the day, we're going to have to act. You need to act, right? So you need to take a leap.
Right.
And the biggest companies, most successful companies out there, spend money on marketing. You have to invest. You're either going to invest money, and if you don't have money, you need to invest a lot of time working your butt off to be successful, so that you can generate money and then invest that money into marketing. And there's a lot of free ways to do that, which you mentioned a couple of them. For example, social media is very inexpensive. And that's where our audience is based. The audience is on social media, so we might as well start tapping into that. Also, our database, that's also free. How many of us are really, truly being honest about how much effort we're putting in to our database and to our business, frankly? Imagine if your success, your survival depended upon you contacting 10 people a day, or you getting, working extra hard to make phone calls, or your survival is dependent upon, you going out and picking out a farm and going door knocking. How much harder would you work if your survival was based upon your success in business, right? So I really think that most of us aren't working as hard as we should, and there's always more effort that we put in. And if we put in the amount of effort that it would take to survive to be successful, then we would kill it, like everyone would, right? So
totally, absolutely.
So reaching out to 10 people a day in our database, that's not hard to do at all. So using
right.
using our phone, our contacts, just pick up the phone and do it. Again, going
right.
back to our database of clients that we have in our follow-up boss, for example. That's all business right there that we need to go after. And if we spend the time and the effort that it would take to survive, imagine how much more successful we would be. One question that I had for you, Greg, is you said you want 100 appointments by June 1st. So I'm going to put you on the spot. How are you going to do that? Number one. And how are you going to track it?
All right. So how am I going to do that? Number one, well, okay. So I have about, I don't know, 5.5 months until I can, achieve that. I got to break that down. That's about 15 appointments a month, I think. Maybe it's a little more. So I've got to start getting on the phone. I've got to start reaching out. I've got to start, going after all of those things that you just mentioned. I mean, we have so many different lead sources and people that we can be reaching out to, and I'm going to make it a game and, see how many appointments I need to make each day. I haven't actually broken down the numbers to do this yet. And maybe it's too lofty of a goal. I kind of need to kind of check that out. Because there was a guy in the room who did exactly this. He was determined to set 100 appointments, and he had achieved his goal, and it was totally impacting his business. I think he had like 9 listings going on at the same time right now, so it was very inspiring to think like, why am I overwhelmed with 1 when I could very well have 9? But on the spot, I'm going to start setting appointments. I'm going to start following my calendar and setting appointments, 3 appointments a week, 5 appointments a week, whatever it really will take to reach that goal, and start, actually doing the work. Like you said, go door knock the neighborhoods, actually get leads and get them flowing into my database in a sensible way. And then, get them on the drip campaigns and get following up with them on a regular basis. It was cool to hear that Follow Up Boss has that new ability that you talked about yesterday to kind of track where people are in the stages of follow up. So I'm going to just start kind of like diving back in and reinvigorating myself with the way that my systems work and using them to the best of their ability and the best of my ability, I guess. Yeah.
And then on the mailers, you said you deliver 2 to 3 mailers a month. Did they mention any sources, like what sources that they would use for that, and what information would you send?
Sure. So geographic farming is one I know of. I think it's a little pricey, but I could also create my own flyers and pick my own farms from the title companies. So I need to explore that a little more, honestly, myself too. But I could just pay geographic farming to do it. Information I would send, well, I definitely need to send information around my current listing, right? I want to tell everyone that I sold this listing before it ever hit the market. I want to say, are you interested in the value of your home? I want to, I'm going to pull up a list of people who haven't sold their home in 20 years in the area that I want to work. And I want to go make that my baby, right? Maybe I'll go door knock all those people that haven't sold in 20 years and see who's ready to kind of make that move to somewhere closer to their grandkids or whatever it may be. So yeah, I have to do all of that. I'm kind of just getting my feet underneath me from coming back from this thing. So I've got a lot of work to do and a ton of things on my list to do.
One thing that we do very often, and we do this for agents too, which is using custom audiences and targeting our audiences on Facebook. So like, for example, you can take your sphere of influence and plug it into Facebook, and then you can start creating campaigns and reaching out to them. And that stuff actually works really, really well. It's more of like a play, it's like, it's kind of like you want to be everywhere all the time. I was at a conference with a couple of really, really successful digital marketers, including a guy named Jesse Itzler, super famous dude. And they were talking about how to, the key to marketing is being everywhere all the time. So people are seeing you everywhere they go. So in terms of your sphere of influence, you can take your sphere and you can plug it into Facebook, and then you can start posting ads, and your sphere will see you. And so over time, they start to realize, okay, well, Greg's like my real estate guy. Like, they're just going to automatically go and reach out to you. And so we're going to have a class that Justin's is going to lead on how to leverage Facebook and how to work your database using Facebook and how to get exposed to your database. It's not expensive. Like, you can spend $5 a day, $5 or $10 a day to be exposed to a large audience. And not only your database, like of people that but to clients as well. So definitely, staying top of mind is really, really important. And I like,
yeah, that was a huge topic. And I'm sitting here looking at my screen. I've got all these spreadsheets open. This is a real deficiency that I feel like I have, and I'm trying to get over it and through it, is like organizing lists of people and different things. And I'm kind of tired of having that on my, as a problem. So I'm just going to start loading people in to the custom audiences on Facebook and stop worrying about it so much. And, I have thousands of people that I've touched throughout the years, that are going to all of a sudden start seeing different ads from me on Facebook. And I can even do research on them based on if they're a homeowner. Am I approaching them to sell their home? Am I approaching them because they haven't purchased a home ever before? So there's different ads you're going to put up for different audiences. And I'm really determined to kind of become, very proficient in that topic, honestly, because it does seem, I already like social media. I already like being in that space and doing that. So I'm going to go get really good at it, and just like I said before, make Google your friend. Google anything you don't know and it comes up. Tom recommended that we look into, I'll pull this up real quick. It was like, Google the 106 greatest marketing headlines. Okay. And so you go look at the greatest marketing headlines, and then you create an ad around what you see there, and you change it, and then he also recommended come at people around their pain points, approach them about what their fears are, right? And so you say things like, what are the 3 greatest mistakes to avoid when selling your home? Asking people, what are you worried about, or, what scares you about buying a home in the Bay Area, maybe? And then the other thing is engagement, getting people to engage with you on those posts, or whatever you post on social media. Leave it with a question, ask people to reply below. And then all of a sudden they start engaging with you. And there's other things that come into play where they, they'll send you, message me if you are interested in any property. Boom. Once they message you, they kind of get into your ecosystem of how you can, they get a pixel attached to them, obviously, which we've talked about before. So then the ads start following them around the internet in other places beside Facebook, So having people engage with you is really an enormous thing. And then also building, lookalike audiences, and I don't know, I can go on and on, but these are the main topics.
Great stuff. And like I said, we'll have a class on how to leverage Facebook and do a lot of the things that we're talking about. And I'll just,
Yep.
I'd love to get anyone's feedback if anyone wants to jump in and throw in some ideas or thoughts or questions or suggestions. But I think you would agree, Greg, that, we can talk about these things and be excited about them today, but we can do like a lot of these things today, tomorrow, next week, but we need to do them on a consistent basis for a long period of time and continue doing these things. And that's how we're going to achieve success, right? I mean, it's like, I'm super excited right now. I'm going to call 10 people today. I'm going to, try to connect with them. And then tomorrow I'm going to call 10 people. And then the next day it's like, okay, you start to slow down. The people that are most successful have the same tenacity every single day. And like you said, we're not going to be amped and super excited every single day, but if you can gamify it and you can like have a set schedule of like goals every day that this is what I'm going to do every day, and like then it becomes like a sort of, it's like a machine at that point. And that's why I think Tom talks about putting those goals on your mirror, because everyone looks at the mirror every day, right? So you're going to remind yourself, okay, this is what I have to do. Although it's going to get boring. Like it's going to suck, right? But it's like you said, going to the gym, you have to do it. You need to be healthy, and you just have to be uncomfortable. You have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable, right? And once you can get to that point, then you start breaking through and taking this to the next level.
Yeah, and once you start achieving some success, you kind of got to double down and just say like, great, I'm kind of getting to where I wanted to go. Let's keep doing exactly what I'm doing and just keep it up, and then all of a sudden you're accomplishing the goals that you set out to accomplish. You're living that dream life. I mean, it's great that we all get to not have a boss or go to work at, a time and have to clock in. So I kind of feel like we're living this dream life. We just have to live it bigger and, go achieve great things. It's all a game. You're going to die at the end of the day, someday. So go make an impact, and find a way to give back some of what you're making, because that's only going to return itself too. And, it's going to feel good to do. And I don't know, there's just so many things that you can just go on and on. It was really cool and very nice to be reinvigorated, honestly.
Awesome. Anyone have any thoughts or ideas or questions at all before we wrap up?
Yeah, I have a quick question. Justin here. Quick question would be, thanks, Greg, for sharing everything. Good insights, motivation. You bullet pointed it well. Thank you. I was just curious,
Sure.
In terms of the frequency of, say, Facebook videos or postings, what do you think your kind of goal for that is, or what are you kind of, visualizing for yourself? I mean, is it going to be 3
Sure.
posts a week, a video, or, if you could just break that down, what you're thinking.
Sure. Tom recommended doing 2 Instagram posts every day. One somewhere in the 8 to 9 in the morning, and one somewhere 3 to 4 in the afternoon. He says that's kind of like good times. Another thing that you can Google best times to do a Facebook Live video. Now, Facebook Live was another huge topic that we talk a lot about, and that was because, sorry, did I answer your question, Justin? Anyways, Facebook
Yes.
Live kind of pushes you right to the front of the pack, right? The algorithm that Facebook uses, they love Facebook Live. You can immediately engage people. People get notifications immediately to their phone that you're live, and they tap right in. So they just completely recommended getting braver and doing Facebook Live a lot when you're out in the market. Let people know that you're out there. People want to love and follow real estate agents. They like it. That's why there's a TV channel surrounding it that people really enjoy. So just do it. Have the bravery to do it. And then when people get on and you see them watching your Facebook Live, you give them a hello and you engage and you start to you ask for that interaction. Hey, if you're following now, give me a heart. If you like this home, write down below what you think it's listed for. And I'll give you out a little gift card to the person who comes closest. All those ideas that we've talked about before, but it's just a matter of doing it. There's so many things you can do throughout the day, so do a bunch of things, right? Plan your calendar and follow through, and have a marketing calendar, have a social media calendar. Then we started talking about growing teams and assistants, and that all seems like a hugely important element to grow on a scalable level. Is you're going to need someone to help you with this stuff too. But while you're growing, work hard. We talked about, if you don't have a list of 100 people on an email list, then that needs to be your goal right there. Is grow that email list of your own to 1,000 people. If I say 100, I meant 1,000. And once you get to 1,000, keep on going.
And one thing I was going to say real quick, if you're posting stuff on Facebook and you're not getting interaction, you're not getting the interaction that you want, people are paying attention. People are watching. I know for a fact, because I'll get random phone calls about posts that we did, like a marker post or something. Like, hey, I saw that post, and start talking about all these posts that I've totally forgotten about. But they're watching. They haven't liked those posts. They haven't commented on those posts. They haven't said anything, but people are totally watching them. And how many times have we looked at something on Facebook and haven't commented or liked it? A lot, right? So people are watching, and so just continue to put stuff out there, and you will get a return over time. So
true. However, you can also, we talked a lot about A/B testing and testing your posts out and knowing, seeing which ones do cause engagement, which do cause likes, and which do cause people to comment. So if people aren't commenting, well, then maybe the post isn't that exciting or engaging. So learn from that and post something different next time. Don't just go down the same path. Test something else out and see what really gets people kind of interacting with you more.
Yep. And at the end of the day, what we're talking about is putting yourself out there. You need to expose just yourself to people, and so people know who you are, and again, stay top of mind. So cool. All right, well, anything else anyone wants to add or ask or suggest or make any comments before we wrap up?
I've got a quick question.
Sure. What's up, Wichi?
Sure.
Greg, did Tom Ferry ever mention
Yeah.
like the types of posts to be putting, like personal versus business, and kind of the ratio of that?
Yeah, actually, he did talk some about that, and we had someone else come up and talk about creating videos, and just about I think Kevin has mentioned this a lot in the last few months. Authenticity being so huge, right? People you're working with have kids, they have dogs, they have lives, they are interested in food, they are interested in other things besides just real estate, right? So yeah, feel open to being authentic and real, even on your business page. It doesn't always have to be about, here's the map of my most recent sales, and here is, just all that content can get a little mundane sometimes. So sometimes people just want to see a funny video of you out with your family or with your kids, or, whatever it may be. So yeah, I would just choose authenticity, I guess, as a basis for that.
A good ratio on that, Wichi, is about 80% of the stuff should be personal, and then 20% business. And people will follow you, like Greg is saying. People are interested in your story and in the authentic story, and they want to know about you. People start to follow you, and so like 80-20 is usually is a good rule of thumb in terms of a ratio. 80% personal, 20% business. And then when you do talk about business, tell stories. As opposed to, like Greg said, saying like, hey, I'm the top salesperson in this neighborhood. I've sold every house, in this area or whatever. Like, nobody cares about that, right? Like no one really cares. But, people are interested in hearing a story that took place and how you got to sell this property to this great family, like the struggles perhaps that they went through. So talk about like, we wrote 4 offers and, it didn't work out, and this family like really needed a home and things weren't looking promising. And then finally we got lucky and got this, found this great home for them. Like with Greg on your San Carlos listing, you can talk about, I think your story is cool. Like, I sent out a video. I was, after these people, and finally after multiple attempts, they, agreed to work with me. And now it's like been the greatest experience ever. And here's a testimonial, and you have like a picture of yourself with the or something. So again, like telling stories.
I have an appointment tomorrow to meet with these couple whose home I'm selling, and it's just to take pictures of them in their home before they move out of it, right? I'm going to take some pictures of them with their dog. And, one thing that they recommended to us was get as many video testimonials from clients that love you as you can, right? So get your clients on video saying why they love you, and that's hot content, right? You can send that out following up with a listing presentation. Whatever testimonials that you have from clients that make sense for whatever meeting you just had, attach 3 testimonials to follow-ups. If you just had a listing appointment, boom, say thank you and have 3 testimonials at the bottom that say, I worked with Greg and he was great. And I did, so that stuff's great.
Let me take it one step beyond that, Greg. You can
get
a testimonial from anyone. It doesn't have to be a client. It can be anyone recommending you your services. It could be a friend that says, hey, I think Greg is awesome. He knows a lot about real estate. I would recommend working with him. I just wanted to put this out there if anyone's interested. Whatever, right?
Yeah.
It's the same thing. Like on Realtor.com, you can get recommendations versus reviews. So the idea with that is that anyone can recommend you. It could be your friend, your cousin, your mom or grandma, whatever. And they can put a recommendation online about working with you. Well, it's the same thing can be done with video. You can have people do testimonial videos for you, and you can post those. And so, the more content, the better. So,
right.
One last question for Greg. Greg, how often are you going to send out bomb videos to your sphere?
I'm doing it a lot right now. How often? Every day, I'm doing it a lot, and I'm using it in every way that I can. I'm even communicating with like I've got a father's group at my daughter's school, and we were supposed to have an event last night, and I was driving back from the desert, and I wasn't going to be able to do this event last night. So I sent them out a bomb message that told them kind of what I was up to and why it was being canceled. And the engagement is like amazing. You know, people love to, they tell you, they're like, hey man, I loved your video. Like, that is so cool. How do you do that? They want to know. And just that engagement is really, is building my relationships with many more people. So when you say someone's name on the video, they see that you're actually thinking about them. They also don't have to read another email. So I'm doing bomb a lot.
Nice. Right on. All right, guys. Well, it's 9:40. Really great call, Greg, man. Thank you so much for sharing lots of great content. I took a ton of notes. And anything you want to leave us off, end it with?
I would love to just kind of work with any of you guys and talk to you all about more of this stuff. I zipped through a lot of things. I hope I didn't talk too fast or do any of that, but happy to chat with you guys. You know, one cool thing that we did right before we left was we got together with our round table of, I don't know, about 8 people around the table, maybe 10. And we did like quick fire, group think, right? Where it was like, come up with the main concerns that you have when you're meeting with sellers, right? And everyone threw their thoughts into the pile, and we'd come up with a list of 20, right? And that just seems like something that we should be doing more often, where it's like we get together and we powwow about, you know, difficulties we're having in the market and solutions that people are coming up with. So I recommend that, you know, we just strengthen our marker teams as much as we can and get together with each other more and go on broker tour together with someone that you get along well with. And, you know, let's just go out and freaking crush it, because we can go on awesome vacations and have great homes. And I want to go to parties at your house that you just bought. And, you know, I just want our team to like blossom and bloom. And I think that if everyone just steps it up and freaking, you know, take your excuse and swallow it all the way down to your butt, okay? Because it doesn't do any good, right? You just get rid of it and get after it, and let's go crush it, you know? I think that it's really a fun field, right? So that's all I got, guys.
Right on, Greg. Thanks a lot, buddy. All right, you guys, everyone have a great weekend.
Okay.
Everyone soon. Thanks. Really great stuff, Greg. Thanks, man.
Thanks for listening, y'all. See ya. Have a great weekend.